Hello everyone, I'm JG and welcome back to Music Forever, where today we're reviewing the new album from Cannibal Corpse, Red Before Black. So we have this new Cannibal Corpse album here today that we're talking about, and Cannibal Corpse are one of those bands, of course if you're unfamiliar with this group, probably one of the most well-known names in death metal, if not the most well-known name in the genre, just given that this band, between, of course, putting out some of the more, classic material of the old-school death metal days back in the early 90s, as well as, of course, all the controversy that kind of came along with, the over-the-top lyrics and album artwork and all of that sorts, kind of helped propel this band into being, not necessarily a household name, but I guess in terms of a death metal band, as close as you're going to get to a household name. Despite that, despite having a massive, I guess you would say, influence on death metal, a massive amount of fans, they've always been a band that, while I've enjoyed, hasn't exactly stood out to me as being one of the more interesting, one of the more exciting bands in death metal. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't even think that this band has put out an album that I think is really super subpar or anything like that. And they put out quite a few records that I do really enjoy in their time as a band. However, just, on the whole, I'm not a super big fan of the fact that they don't usually change things up from release to release. And at the same time, I can understand why some people would like them for that exact reason. Just because the band is very consistent with the sound that they provide with every release that they have. And the same really goes for this new album here, Red Before Black, which is, pretty much just a Cannibal Corpse album. I mean, I think that's the best way to describe it, honestly. It's just, kind of an old school death metal styled album, of course, with more modern production, with just, a lot of aggression to it, just a lot of fast energy. I do like how there's a couple of moments here on this thing where they decide to slow things down a bit more and kind of provide a bit more of an atmosphere with that, which, like, I believe on the tracks of Code of the Slashers and Remaimed, those were two tracks that stood out to me just because of the kind of slower feel that they had at times going for them. Not that it's super slow or anything like that, but I do like it how it provided some more atmosphere to the project at times. And it does, kind of help with that whole, just crazy horror movie type of vibe that, Cannibal Corpse just kind of does all the time. Lots of the songs here that don't even have that kind of feel, that are, just more typical, fast, aggressive, just pummeling Cannibal Corpse tracks. Even then, there's a lot of enjoyable songs there, particularly on the first half of this project. However, my major complaint with Cannibal Corpse as a band is, kind of my major complaint here with this project as a whole, and that is that it is, very much, like I said, just sort of a Cannibal Corpse album. It doesn't exactly progress the band's sound in any particular way. It doesn't particularly progress death metal in a super interesting new way. However, I do understand that lots of people do like this fact about this band, the fact that they are very consistent with the sound that they put out. And, if you are a death metal fan, if you are a Cannibal Corpse fan, chances are that you are going to like this project to some degree because, there's really no reason for you not to, unless you just don't listen to music that sounds similar from release to release. I don't know, but it's very much like their previous works. So if you like those, you're going to like this album because it is, very similar to that. The kind of similar feel that's brought with a lot of the tracks here, as well as, not just in the context of this album, but as, the band as a whole and their discography, just makes some of these tracks definitely stand out more than others. Particularly the second half of this thing began to become a lot less interesting to me as I listened to it more all the way through. I feel like the first half of this album is a lot stronger, and I do feel like the moments where they decide to slow things down a bit more. I don't even know what happened there. Maybe I should slow things down a bit more when I'm talking. But yeah, they slow things down a bit more here on the album, I think, is one of some of the better moments here in the track listing, some of the more memorable moments here in the track listing, just because, those moments do stick out to me for providing a bit more of an atmosphere instead of just, the typical sort of just very fast, very aggressive Cannibal Corpse sound. And for the record, I'm not saying that they haven't, done the slower kind of thing before in the past. They definitely have, but I still do enjoy hearing it here on this project. Overall, yeah, lots of great solos here on this project, lots of interesting, fun riffs. Lyrics, of course, are just your typical over-the-top, violent, gory, Cannibal Corpse horror-style lyrics that, if you like, you're going to like them here as well. And, really, this album, there's not all too much to say about it, just because it is very much, a Cannibal Corpse album. I think that sums it up better than anything else because, you know, if you're familiar with this band, if you're familiar with their sound, you're really gonna know exactly what you're getting into when you put this record on. So yeah, if you're a Cannibal Corpse fan, I would recommend you check this out because it's probably what you're expecting. But if you're someone who's kind of sick and tired of the same, you know, kind of stuff over and over again, which you probably are already by this point, I doubt you're, you know, looking out for new Cannibal Corpse material at this point if that's the case. But for whatever reason, if you're one of those people and you're interested, it doesn't exactly change things all too much up from their previous works. I think it's just a pretty solid record overall. Some enjoyable tracks I may be coming back to in the future, but as a whole, not the most interesting death metal project this year, or not the most interesting Cannibal Corpse album even, but it's solid and it's enjoyable, especially if you're a Cannibal Corpse fan. So if you are, you should definitely check this project out. And before you leave, make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future album reviews, just music-related content and things of the sort. Comment down below your thoughts on this project. Follow me on all the social medias linked in the description down below. Thanks for watching, guys, and stay golden.